I'm Chelsea, one of Parent Zone's local guides, and with me today is Parent Zone's CEO, Vicky Shotbolt. Hi Vicky, you alright?
Hi Chelsea, I'm really excited to be here.
Amazing. Now in this conversation, we're going to be exploring some different ways for people to improve their digital lives, especially when it's about their children and their families. So, I think it's really worth just you giving us a brief description on who Parent Zone are, because some people might not have heard of us.
I am very happy to do that. Before I do, can I say how excited I am to be in our studios in Halifax? I haven't visited them before, and this is where we do live stream events and mass participation events and make film and do assemblies, and it's really, really cool. So it's very nice to be here. Parent Zone's been around for about 15 years, and our job is to help families get the most out of the internet. So to benefit from all the opportunities of digital life, but also to make sure that they stay safe, and that as digital is now such a big part of family life, that we do everything we can to help parents with that and to make it a bit easier than it sometimes feels.
Fab. So the conversation we're having today is part of our everyday digital media literacy program. And we've got, as part of this program, lots of different resources, lots of different pieces of advice to help families have a positive relationship with tech. Now, in this program, Vicky, we talk a lot about habit stacking, but can you tell us what habit stacking is?
It's a great term, isn't it? I think we're all familiar with habits. We've all got, usually it's the bad habits that are easier to get, don't you think? It's much easier to form a bad habit than a good habit. But we all have those habits or routines that are part of our lives, whether it's going to the kettle first thing in the morning when you get out of bed, or I don't know, always sitting down on your sofa at the same time to watch a TV program or stream something on a streaming service. So those habits that you've already got that are part of your life. An easy way to learn a new habit is to add it to one that you've already got. And that's the stacking bit. So you introduce a new habit, but you layer it on top of one that you're already doing. And that way, it's more likely to stick.
Ah, interesting. So if you do want to find out a little bit more about habit stacking and how this can benefit you and your family, just check out the link in the description and you can find out loads more information. Now, Vicky, before we go any further and talk more about some different habits we can form, can you just tell us a bit more about digital literacy and media literacy?
It doesn't sound like the most exciting thing in the world, does it? But it's really, really important when children are growing up in a digital world. We all live in a digital world, don't we? We use digital all the time in every part of our life. The first thing I do in the morning is speak to Alexa. First thing I do, I say, "Good morning, what time is it?" So it's a really important set of skills, and it's quite a broad range of skills. So it's about understanding your data and knowing what it is and where you're sharing it and when you're sharing it. It's about understanding digital spaces. It's about, where you're going and places and environment, your digital environment. It's about being able to create content and share it really confidently, which, we all consume a lot of content online, but we also make a lot of content. I think I must send hundreds of emails a day, and that's before I start, posting a bit on Insta and things like that. So creating and sharing content confidently is a media literacy skill. And then it's about knowing when you've been lied to. It's about mis and disinformation, which is really being able to figure out what the media is trying to do to you, what it's trying to make you feel and what it's trying to make you think, and whether the motives behind it are honest or dishonest or just, highly commercial, for example. So loads and loads of strands to media literacy, and that can all feel a wee bit overwhelming. It's not. A lot of these skills are things that people already do. It's already stuff that we've been applying to the media for years and years. But in a digital world, it's really, really important. It's a set of skills that kids absolutely need. And that's what this program is all about. It's about helping parents and parents helping their children to develop really good media literacy skills. Brilliant. Sorry, that was a really long answer, wasn't it? There's a lot to it. It's really interesting stuff.
There is a lot. And if, on our Parent Zone local website, there's loads of different resources and articles that you can check out and find out more. But anyway, back to habits. So, Vicky, I've asked you to think of 3 different habits specifically focusing on your use of social media that other people might be able to use or take some inspiration from?
So I knew you were going to ask me this. I have been thinking about it, Chelsea. I realise I have quite a lot of bad habits around social media, just bad habits generally, like sleeping with my phone under my pillow, which is a really bad habit. I'm really going to try and change it. So you can do that too. You don't just have to form new habits. You can just change old habits if you want to. But the one that I'm going to kick off with for social media is to do with Insta. I check it whilst I'm having my breakfast every single morning. And I'm going to start liking some gardening videos, gardening reels, not videos, reels, because my feed has just got full of dogs. Nothing wrong with dogs. I love a bit of a dog reel, but I want to mix it up a bit. I want to mix up my environment a little bit. So I'm going to start liking gardening ones, coming into spring, doing a little bit of work in the garden, hoping to grow a little bit of food. Ooh. And get my potatoes in, things like that. So I'm going to start liking gardening reels.
Amazing. So really mixing it up, what you're seeing on your feed. And my gardening skills are terrible. Everything just dies when I put in my garden.
Mine too.
Well, maybe I should do some gardening Instagram reels for inspiration and advice as well.
I learn everything on social media. I really do. If I want to know how to do something, I just look at it online. So gardening hasn't worked yet, but that's my new habit. So let's see what happens at the end of the season.
Brilliant. Once you've got all those new videos to watch, all those reels to watch, you will have a flourishing garden and it will look lovely.
Loving your optimism.
Oh, we'll see. You can share it on Insta if it looks good. And if not, we can just ignore this conversation ever happened. Okay, anyway, habit number 2, what have you got for us?
Well, this one's super easy, super simple. And it's just about finding a moment. So let's say you do the school run every day, you do it in the car, you maybe walk to school, however you do it, apart from on a bicycle, because you couldn't really do this on a bicycle. But the habit is just ask, what's your favourite social media platform? Which ones are you into at the moment? Is there anybody you're particularly following? Any influencers you're into? Just having that conversation with your child and making it part of the habit. In the same way that you say, what did you do at school today? Making this conversation one of those things that's part of a routine everyday journey, let's say. Simple, but really important, I think, because it shows you're interested.
Yeah, nice. And if you don't do the school run, that could be a conversation that happens when you're having your dinner or your tea, just asking what you've been looking at, what's been inspiring you, who have you been following, all that kind of stuff can be a really nice conversation to have.
I think it can. And I think the thing about digital is it's digital. It's not physical. It's kind of, you don't have those automatic reminders. It's not like a child going out of the door and going to play with a mate. It's all kind of behind that screen, isn't it? And so you have to remember to ask who they're interested in, who they're following, which platforms they're on, because otherwise you won't see them very easily. So it's a nice habit to form.
Nice, thank you. Now, have you got a third and final one for us?
I do. You asked for 3, Chelsea.
I did.
And I've come up with 3 and I've mixed it up a little bit. This one's an annual habit because not every habit has to be every day. It doesn't even have to be every week. So do you do that thing of swapping your wardrobe around? Packing away your winter clothes and getting out your summer clothes?
Yeah, stick all my jumpers away and pull out all my nicer summer dresses.
Exactly. I do it because who has enough wardrobe space for all your clothes? So I am going to stack on top of doing that habit annually, or twice a year actually, don't you? Biannually. I'm going to have a big old tidy up of my phone and my platforms and all of my digital stuff because I've got apps on my phone that I haven't looked at for months. So once a year when I do that big wardrobe switch around, I'm going to habit stack, cleaning up my digital spaces.
Nice. Freeing up some space on your phone. And do you know what I'm going to start doing as well? When I'm doing like my weekly tidy up or whatever, I'm going to start looking at my emails, finding those kind of newsletters that I've subscribed to, and it might have been I used to be interested in that product or company or whatever, and just unsubscribing to keep my inbox a bit more clutter-free. And if I do that weekly when I'm doing the vacuuming or whatever, then, I mean, I'm lying, I don't vacuum every week, maybe I should. But
Yeah, and I think that would be quite hard because you'd be vacuuming with one hand and doing your cleaner
checking.
with your other. That would be like multitasking.
I mean, I'll try it. I mean, see how I get on. But do you know what? I think we should leave that there. I think that should be the end of our conversation.
Do you know what though? That's
Go
a
on.
really good one because that's a data one. That when you think about media literacy, that is saying I gave permission to that company to send me marketing emails and I'm withdrawing it. I don't want them to send me those marketing emails anymore. So I'm going to unsubscribe. So I think that's a brilliant habit to end on.
Ah, thank you. And I'm happy that it was my habit. I feel empowered. But thank you so much for joining us today. We've got loads more information, advice, articles. Just check the Parent Zone local website. You can find videos on how to form new habits. And there's also loads of different guides and resources about different platforms and games online. So make sure you check that out. If you do have a question, you can email our team of local guides. The email is in the description and it's localguides@parentzone.org.uk. So any questions, any comments, do drop us a line. We really love hearing from you. And thanks so much for joining.